Hello everyone, welcome to the Dr. Quack House Calls. I'm Dr. Quack, and today I want to talk about something that has happened over the last 24 hours. Because there's a lot of fans out there in the professional wrestling world that are very excited to see Edge over there in AEW. And I'm going to tell you, there's some problems here that I want to talk about. First off, this has been known through the dirt sheets for several days. You know, it's all been brought up. Edge is going to AEW. Is Edge going to show up tonight? It's not very hard to figure out Edge was going to show up last night. I mean, this is what pisses me off about professional wrestling. One of the things. Spoilers. They suck. Like, I get it. If you want to put a spoiler out, make sure you put a warning on there, about it, that it is a spoiler. But everybody's all about the clicks, so that's what they care about. Doesn't matter about if we break kayfabe or not. It isn't like 1995, when Lex Luger came out to WCW and everybody was shocked and nobody knew about his contract expiring. Except for a few smart marks, I'm sure, out there. But, it's all over the internet. There's no such thing as a good surprise anymore. Everybody's like, I already know. Oh, God, Edge is going to be there tonight. Let me go watch that. And in reality, it didn't help the business very much, in my opinion. I do not blame Edge one bit. I don't. Because you look at WWE, Now Endeavor, or, owned by UFC people or whoever, TKO, they don't know how to run a wrestling company. They know how to produce fights. Yes, there's that. That's a good thing in some respects. But they're producing television. They don't know how to produce a wrestling show. Every business is like every other business, except the world of professional wrestling. It is very different. I think that this is just going to be a downhill spiral. I mean, Edge left for a reason. They had nothing for him. Okay, I get that. But you look at, I'm expecting other people to leave outside of the few that are, high up on there. Like, we'll talk your Judgment Day or your Bloodline people, those guys. If you're a mid-carder, you can either expect to be axed or doing nothing in the WWE. So AEW might be an alternative. But I've said this before in previous videos. If you look at it, comparison to back in the days, there were more people watching back in the 90s and 2000s than there are today. There is such a gap. And right now you're talking about the hardcore fan getting excited. And that's who I'm basically speaking to. The hardcore fan. The casual fan, the one that also likes Taylor Swift, but tries to say they like the Kansas City Chiefs, those casual fans, they're not around in professional wrestling as much. They're not people. Most of those guys are, whatever. It was great. But I remember The Rock, and I remember Stone Cold, and I remember John Cena. But, that's exactly, how it is now. So to the diehards, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. Like, oh, yeah, now maybe, we can see Edge go compete elsewhere. They'll have interpromotional matches with New Japan, which is cool. That is, They might have matches with Jericho again and have a formation with Christian, and everybody else that's over in AEW. But in reality, it's a quick spike in the ratings. It's like, ooh, Edge is there. Next show. Because, that's all it is for shock value. So for Edge, congratulations. I hope they paid you good enough. I hope you got good money, from the money mark. And that's exactly what I call Tony Khan, the money mark. Because he is a guy who really, he loves the business, but doesn't really have a lot of a clue to watching the business. I've been told that AEW is for certain people who love wrestling, right? And that's where a big mistake, I believe, with AEW is. It's a lot like ECW. If you look at it, ECW was great for the hardcore, blood and chairs and barbed wire fans. But to the average fan, they may or may not have liked it. I mean, it helped. WWE did that, added it into their Attitude Era. They didn't go to the extremes of crucifixions and things like that, but they had blood at that time and things like that. But yeah, I mean, hopefully for Edge, that this is going to be a good thing for him. It'll be a good way to get out of the business, because you figure he's only going to do this maybe for a year, maybe two, if it's something that's long-term storyline that he's really enjoying. And, the big thing with this as well, like I said, the money mark, he's able to talk to him. He will listen. I will give him that. Tony Khan will listen to people. The problem is he going to listen to the right people? Because you seen what happened with CM Punk. I just wanted to cut this video. I wanted to get my thoughts out since I found about this. I see a lot of people talking about it. So I wanted to give my thoughts on the Edge situation. I wish him nothing but the best. But, yeah, it's not the major spike that everybody's thinking about. I mean, give it 48 hours. Nobody's probably going to give a damn. That's just my personal opinion. Maybe a week, okay? Maybe a week. But nobody's going to give a damn after that. He'll take on and have his first match, and then, Well, that's all I got, folks. I'm Dr. Quack. I got some interviews here this week coming up. You'll see them here on the YouTube channel. But you also see them live if you go to Whitnam's Wrestling World, or if you go to my Dr. Quack House Calls page on Facebook, you'll be able to see them there as well. And that next interview will be with a good friend of mine. His name is Old School. I'll see you next time.